Before his first Tommy Hilfiger label ever appeared on a department store shelf, before his first model ever swagged in his clothes down a runway, before the red, white, and blue logo became a global symbol. He was already famous, but not for design, not for fashion, for something entirely unrelated. Tommy Hilfiger went down in history as the embodiment of greatness. The illusion of it, that is, which he so skillfully created that the world just assumed it to be true. It's not the story of a revolutionary clothing brand that shocked with bold innovation. No. This is the story of belief, of branding, about one man's greatest risk and how he used marketing to win his place at the table with fashion royalty. It's the story of how Tommy Hilfiger bluffed his way to the top. And that gamble paid off in a billion-dollar empire. Some of the finance experts tweeted and said, "This is Tommy Hilfiger. He didn't build a clothing brand, he built an illusion, and the world bought it." So let's dive deep into the legendary story of Tommy Hilfiger. Let's step back to the early 1980s. Nobody's first choice to be a fashion icon was Tommy Hilfiger. Brought up in Elmira, a small town in upstate New York, he was just a kid selling jeans out of the trunk of his car. Before he was 20, he owned a small shop, People's Place, selling clothes and bell-bottoms to the locals. It worked, until it did not. The shop went under, and he was broke. Anyone else would have given up, but Tommy did not. He still believed he was destined for something bigger, and not just as a fashion designer. He believed he could build a brand. He knew the power of symbols, names, and brands. They were the labels on everyone's lips then. Ralph Lauren, Calvin Klein, and Perry Ellis. They weren't just designers, they were idols. And Tommy Hilfiger, with no awards and no brand base, bet his life on the biggest risk. He wanted to be next. Then came George Lois, a master in advertisement. Lois was known for creating campaigns that not only sold products, but made history. Tommy walked into his office with one goal in mind: to become the next great American designer. Rather than showing George a revolutionary fashion concept, however, Tommy presented him with a dream. The scheme they devised was crazy, daring, and even risky.
The gods.
So I show him an ad, and it says the 4 great American designs for men are, and then it said C dash dash dash. You got to fill in the name. Calvin Klein, and the other one's R dash, Ralph Lauren, P dash dash dash, Perry Ellis. Then it said T dash dash dash, H dash 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 dash. Who the hell knew who TH was? It's Tommy's mother didn't
But
know.
if it succeeded, it would redefine branding for all time. They showcased a huge billboard in the pulsating heart of American advertising, Times Square. This was no ordinary billboard, and rather than promoting Tommy's apparel, which, come on, hardly existed at the time, the billboard just posted a huge block of text. White background, large, bold, black letters. No logo, no model, no product, just this message. The 4 great American designers for men are... And at the end, we had the name Tommy Hilfiger. The first 3 names were undeniable: Ralph Lauren, Perry Ellis, Calvin Klein, Giants, and then Tommy Hilfiger. An unfamiliar name, a name which did not belong. And yet, there it was, with the others. It was mind manipulation. It was psychological warfare in the field of fashion, and it succeeded. People saw the billboard and instantly wondered, who is Tommy Hilfiger? Fashion editors were shocked. Buyers were curious. Overnight, Hilfiger was the topic of discussion in town, not for what he made, but for the way he presented himself. The audacity of the publicity stunt created buzz. And in marketing, curiosity translates to cash. Behind the scenes, tensions were building. And when the first Tommy Hilfiger collection launched, it wasn't revolutionary. It was clean, bold, American, power red, white, and blue color palettes. It was familiar, nearly retro, but due to that billboard, it didn't need to be revolutionary. It just needed to be. The product had finally caught up to the brand. And the product? It was unstoppable now. The turning point was in 1990, when Snoop Dogg wore a giant Tommy Hilfiger sweatshirt during his Saturday Night Live performance. The next morning, every Hilfiger item in that arrangement sold out. Overnight, the brand that had once begged for attention became a cultural symbol. But the thing is, the billboard didn't work simply because it was clever. It worked because it engaged the human mind. When we look at someone standing next to greatness, we automatically equate them with greatness. That's social proof. That's association by prestige. Tommy Hilfiger's billboard didn't just introduce a name. It suggested legacy. It suggested achievement. And because it was presented so confidently, so assertively, people simply believed it. Perception is reality when it comes to fashion. It's not the stitch,
Because at the end of
it's
the day,
the story.
your
It's not the
integrity
fabric, it's
is
the
all you
feeling
have.
that fabric inspires.
And
Tommy
I
Hilfiger understood
didn't
this
want
deeply. He knew
the
that
public
people
to think
don't buy
that
clothes
I
because
was
of thread count or tailoring They buy clothes because of what those clothes say about them. Wear Ralph Lauren and you're sophisticated. Wear Calvin Klein and you're edgy. Wear Tommy Hilfiger and you're bold, confident, and proudly American. That's not a product, that's a persona. And the genius of Tommy's billboard wasn't simply in making noise. It was in establishing that image before anyone even had a chance to question him. From there on, the Hilfiger name was associated with young luxury, with street style, with old school prep. And as the company expanded, so did its legend. The illusion that he had fostered wasn't simply embraced, it became fact. By the late 1990s, Tommy Hilfiger was a billion-dollar brand. It was in over 100 countries. His name was on perfume, home goods, watches, and even music collaborations. He wasn't impersonating it anymore. He was a fashion legend, and it all started with a billboard. That trick is found to be learned in marketing school today as a lesson in perception over product. And while some mock it, no one can deny that it is brilliance. Tommy did not cheat the game. He uncovered it. He taught us that fame does not precede success in current branding. Fame may be used to create success. And the greatest lesson of all, you do not have to wait to be ready in order to arrive. Occasionally, arriving is what gets you ready. So the next time you see a brand launch or an unknown name thrown into a pool of legends, don't get agitated so readily. That could be the next Tommy Hilfiger phenomenon. Because in fashion and in life, perception is often more powerful than reality. Tommy Hilfiger never pretended to be talented. He pretended to be famous. And then he did just enough to keep the illusion going. That is not cheating. That is plotting. That is branding. And sometimes that's enough. If you liked today's dive, give this video a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe as more content is yet to come.